Potential due to a system of charges, also called principle of superposition. Okay, in first PUC in 11th standard physics we have studied about principle of superposition of waves. Similarly here, principle of superposition with respect to electrostatic potential. So this principle says, if there are multiple charges like this, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and what is the electric potential at this point P means potential at point P due to first charge, distance is R1, potential is constant Q by R1. The presence of neighboring charges will not alter this potential, means these charges will never disturb the value of this V1. That is the beauty of this principle of superposition. They will contribute some potential at point P, but the potential due to Q1 at point P is not disturbed by the presence of neighboring charges. That is principle of superposition. Now, because of these four charges, what is the resultant potential means? Resultant potential is V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4 equal to, since potential is a scalar quantity, just algebraic sum of these four gives the total potential. Okay, so potential V1 is constant Q1 by R1, charge Q1 divided by distance. Similarly, potential due to second charge is Q2 by, if this distance is R2, then constant Q2 by R2 plus Q3 by R3, constant Q3 by R3 plus potential due to fourth charge, constant Q4 by R4. So we can take common factor K. So remaining is Q1 by R1 plus Q2 by R2, Q3 by R3 plus Q4 by R4. This is the resultant potential. So this is the whole idea. The principle of superposition says, the potential at P due to total charge configuration is the algebraic sum. This is important. Algebraic sum of the potentials due to the individual charges. That is V equal to V1 plus V2 plus etc. If there are n number of charges, then Vn. Let us consider a system of n charges. Q1, Q2, etc. to Qn with position vectors R1, R2, etc. to Rn. With respect to the origin. Position vector means it is always with respect to some reference point. Now in this case with respect to the origin. The electric potential at point P due to charge Q1 is V1 equal to, constant is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by R1P. Understand the notation. R1P is distance of P from Q1. R1P is distance of Q1 from P. Now the electric potential at P due to the remaining charges. Electric potential at P due to Q2, Q3, etc. to Q1 are V2 equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This is constant. Charge Q2, distance of second charge from P. Similarly, V3 is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q3 by distance of third charge from P, etc. Therefore, total potential is, or net potential is, the potentials, there is this constant common factor 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q1 by first term distance of first charge from P plus distance of second charge from P plus etc. plus last charge distance of nth charge from P. So this is the resultant potential. Now note, with respect to potential due to a charged shell. In the previous chapter, with respect to a charged spherical shell, using Gauss theorem, we proved that electric field at a point outside the shell is E equal to constant total charge on the shell divided by distance from the center to point P. This distance is R. So R square. We proved that it is constant Q by R square. Now if the point P is on the surface, then electric field equal to constant total charge by distance from the center to P means it is equal to radius of this shell R. Therefore R square. Outside we should consider from the center, not from the surface. To a point on the surface, radius matters. We also proved that electric field inside the shell is 0. Electric field inside the shell is 0. In this chapter there is no derivation. Okay. Similarly, we can say that potential at a point outside a charged shell, potential equal to constant Q by R. We should consider distance from the center to P. Potential on the surface, constant Q by capital R. Observe capital R and this is small r. Capital R is radius of the shell. Okay. Potential equal to constant Q by R. Major difference between electric field and electric potential. Inside the shell, electric field is 0. But inside the shell, electric potential is constant Q by R, which is same as that potential on the surface. In simple words, if this is a charged shell, because of the charge, potential outside the shell is 15 volt, then potential on the surface is 25 volt, inside the shell is also 25 volt. So 25 volt is same everywhere inside and on the surface. That is the meaning of this equal to this. Electric field is 0 but potential is not equal to 0. It is equal to that on the surface. Now we have to write this in this note. Electric potential at a point outside a charged spherical shell, V equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, constant in electrostatics, into Q by distance from the center. If this is charged shell, point P is outside, center of the shell O, distance from the center is R, total charge Q by distance from the center. Electric potential at a point on the surface of a charged spherical shell or close to the surface of a charged spherical shell. Potential equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Point on the surface or close to the surface means distance from the center is equal to radius, Q by R. Observe this R and this R. This is radius. Now P is close to the surface or on the surface. This is P. This distance is R. Distance R. Electric potential inside the charged shell. V equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into Q by R. Potential on the surface is same as that inside the shell. This is inside the shell, this is on the surface of the shell. This is center of the shell O, this is point P inside the shell. Now probable questions. State principle of superposition with respect to electric potential. Just statement for 1 mark. Mention an expression for electric potential at a point inside a charged spherical shell. Mention just the expression. Mention an expression for electric potential at a point on the surface. Inside, on the surface. Expression for electric potential at a point outside the shell. 1 mark. Electric potential on the surface of a shell is 5 volt. What is the potential at the center of the shell? Potential on the center is equal to potential on the surface. So answer is also 5. I am not writing, you should write, okay? This is for 1 mark. You can also write the, you can also justify the statement by giving reason. State and explain principle of superposition of electric potential with respect to a system of charges. Write the statement, equation, that is for 2 or 3 marks. Equipotential surface. Name itself says equipotential, same potential at all points on the surface. Now, this is a point charge. Potential due to point charge is V equal to constant Q by R. This is a constant. Let us keep charge fixed. This is also a constant. So potential is inversely proportional to distance. From this charge, find potential at this point. 4 volt. Potential at this point at the same distance. 4 volt. Potential at this point. 4 volt. Potential at this point. 4. So if you carefully observe, we are trying to keep R constant. Okay. We are trying to keep R constant means locus of points which are equidistant from a point means that forms a circle. So in this case, equipotential line is a circle. But in 3 dimension, this circle, instead of circle in 3D, we get a sphere. So if it is a sphere, each and every point is at equidistant from this center. Therefore, for a point charge, we can say that sphere is an equipotential surface. Sphere. Isn't it? Fine. Now, what is an equipotential surface means? It is a surface where potential is constant at all points. Another statement, what is an equipotential surface means? It is a surface where potential difference between any two points is 0. If potential at this point is 5 volt, potential at this point is also 5 volt, then difference of these two is 0. Therefore, second statement, equipotential surface is a surface where potential difference between any two points is 0. Now, equipotential surface is a surface where potential is same at all points. This is one of the statements of equipotential surface. Equipotential surface is a surface where potential difference between any two points on the surface is 0. Third statement, equipotential surface is a surface in which work done to move a charge from one point to another point is 0. So we have three different statements. Now note, equipotential surface is always perpendicular to the electric field. Equipotential surface to a point charge is a sphere with charge at the center. Equipotential surface to a point charge is a sphere with charge at the center. If this is a charge at the center, then every point on the surface of this sphere is equidistant from the center, that is Q. Therefore, this is an equipotential surface. And what is the nature of surface? It is spherical or sphere. If this is a sheet of charge of infinite area, because of this sheet of charge, a plane parallel to this sheet of charge is an equipotential surface. So let me draw that plane parallel to the surface, parallel to the charged sheet. So this imaginary plane is an equipotential surface for this charged sheet. Okay, let me construct one more plane parallel to this sheet, that is also an equipotential surface. This is second equipotential surface. Equipotential surface is always perpendicular to the electric field. So let me draw perpendicular to the surface charge state. So these are the electric field lines. These electric field lines are perpendicular to the charge sheet, nothing but they are also perpendicular to the equipotential surfaces. Relation between electric field and electric potential. Derivation of E equal to minus dV by dx or E equal to minus dV by dr. dV means change in potential, small change in potential. dr is distance between those two points. Similarly, dx is distance between those 2 points, this or this. Particularly if this is asked along x-axis, in general r. Consider two equipotential surfaces A and B separated by dx. Let V plus dV and V be the potentials of A and B respectively. Let V plus dV and V be the potentials of A and B respectively. These two are two equipotential surfaces A and B. These two are separated by distance. These two are separated by dx. Because of some charge here, this is the direction of electric field. Electric field is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface. Electric field E. So this equipotential surface A is closer to the charge, therefore potential is more than B. That is why we are taking potential of A as V plus dV and potential of B less than this by dV. Work done to move charge Q0 from B to A is, means we are moving the charge from B to A. Since charge is moved against the electric field, work is done by an external force. Work done equal to potential difference. Potential of first is V plus dV minus potential of second is V. Difference of those two gives potential difference into Q0, which is equal to V minus V get cancels. So it is Q0 into dV. This is first equation. But work done dW equal to force dot displacement. The charge is moved from B to A, therefore displacement is dx. Equal to F dx cos 180. So force on Q0 is to the right. This is the direction of force. This is the direction of displacement. Therefore angle is 180 degree. Displacement is from B to A. Cos 180 equal to minus F into dx. This is work done dW. dW equal to minus F minus relation between force and electric field is Q0 times electric field at that point into dx. This is equation 2. Equation 1, equation 2. From equation 1 and equation 2, equation 1 Q0 dV, this is minus Q0 E into dx. So Q0 get cancels. So E equal to minus dV by dx. This is the required expression. Since electric field is a vector quantity, we can write electric field equal to minus dV by dx into I cap. I cap is unit vector along x-axis. In general, we can write E equal to minus dV by dr. So electric field is negative potential gradient. Now observe E equal to minus dV by dx. This d by dx is called gradient operator. Gradient d by dx, it is called gradient operator. If the gradient operator operates on a scalar quantity, then we get a vector quantity. Next, this dv by dx is also the slope, because if we plot a graph of potential versus distance, then negative slope means there should be decrease in v value with respect to x. So negative slope, negative potential gradient is electric field. Okay. Now, what is the physical significance means? Physical significance. So whenever we get an equation, we should also think from this point of view, which is called physical significance. Okay. Magnitude of electric field is proportional to dv by dx, magnitude of change in potential with respect to distance. And the direction of electric field is in the direction of the steepest change in potential with respect to distance, that is dv by dx. Physical significance of E equal to minus dv by dx. The direction of electric field is in the direction of the steepest decrease in potential. Minus says decrease in potential, and the magnitude of electric field is proportional to magnitude of dv by dx. The direction of electric field is along the direction of the steepest change in electric potential, and magnitude of electric field is proportional to dv by dx. These two are the physical significance. Okay. Electric field is in the direction in which the potential decreases steepest, maximum slope. Its magnitude is given by the, its magnitude is means magnitude of the electric field. Its magnitude is given by the magnitude of potential per unit displacement. Potential per unit displacement normal to the equipotential surface, because you know electric field is normal, perpendicular to the equipotential surface. So direction is always perpendicular to the equipotential surface, and the direction is along the steepest decrease in potential. So these two are the physical significance of E equal to minus dv by dx. So according to this equation, unit of electric field is volt by meter, therefore volt per meter. In previous chapter we have seen that Newton per coulomb is the unit of electric field, also volt per meter. Okay.